Hello friends, welcome back to IWJ or Invest with Jerry. Today we will discuss about two things. One is the earnings report for this week and other one is the stock picks for this week. So this is the biggest week of earnings in 2021. The reason being the biggest names in the US stock market are releasing earnings this week. So one thing to note is if you were like planning on to start a position in Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, even Tesla or some other big companies, and you're waiting for a chance to start once the company price has come down. So this might be the week where you will get a chance to do that, because once if a company reports its earnings and due to some reason this earnings goes bad, there's a good chance that the company is going to tank a lot during this time. So if you're super bullish on some of these companies and you understand why it went down from the earnings report, then this might present a good chance for you to buy into the stocks. So let's take a look at what are the big companies that are actually reporting earnings in this week. So on Monday after hours, we have our first big company, which is Tesla. Then next is NXPI, which is another semiconductor play. Then we have Amcor Technology. Coming down, I don't know any of these. Tomorrow on Tuesday before market, we have UPS, we have GE. So GE is also related to the aerospace defense play, so related to like Boeing, Spirit Aerosystems, etc. 3M, you know what they do. Eli Lilly is one of the big pharmaceutical bio companies. Crocs is one of the apparel footwear companies. Raytheon Technologies is again a big defense player. I am very bullish on this one. BP, we all know, it's like the conventional petrol gas player. Waste management. Then after close we have AMD. AMD is another semiconductor play. Then we have Microsoft. Everyone knows what Microsoft is. Pinterest. In last week we saw the earnings for Snapchat and that looks very good. So I believe Pinterest also is going to produce good earnings. Alphabet, which is like parent company for Google. Then comes Visa. Then comes Starbucks. It will be good to see if Starbucks can produce a good earnings report. Because parts of the economy is already reopened and with vaccinations going in pretty fast pace, the chances of Starbucks going higher is good. Okay, I forgot one thing. Enphase is a big solar player, so that will be good to see. Teradyne, FireEye, Texas Instruments is another semiconductor play. Boeing, we all know what Boeing is, and this is like the biggest defense aerospace play. I am very bullish on Boeing. So if there's a chance that Boeing misses some earnings and then it goes down, there's chances that I will pick up some shares of Boeing. Shopify, a big company. Then comes Spotify. We all know what Spotify is. Humana, SiriusXM, CME Group. Then comes Apple, Facebook, Qualcomm, and then I'm looking into Teladoc. So Teladoc is like the telemedicine. So people expect Teladoc not to do good after once the economy is reopened because they think that people are supposed to go back to hospitals and telemedicine is going to come down. So, but if Teladoc can do a surprise earnings and show that people are still interested in telemedicine, this stock might be going back to its highs again. Then comes ServiceNow. This is a very good company. Then comes eBay, MGM Resorts. I believe in MGM Resorts. Then comes Caterpillar. We know this is like an industrial play. Merck, McDonald's, Overstock, Domino's Pizza, Altria, Thermo Fisher. Then comes Amazon. Then comes Neo. Then comes Twitter. Skyworks Solution. I'm a very bullish fan of Skyworks. Then we have Vertex. Dexcom. Dexcom is a major player in the diabetics industry for sensors and all those things. And then comes ExxonMobil, AbbVie. AbbVie is a very good company. AstraZeneca, Goodyear, and L3Harris. L3Harris also is like a very big defense player. So many big companies are reporting earnings this week, and there is a chance that some of these companies might miss earnings or their guidance might not look good because of so many reasons. One of the major reasons might be the semiconductor shortage, and sometimes also there will be some issues with reopening issues in countries like Brazil, China, Brazil, India, where the corona numbers are going high. So some of the international companies might get hit, and then that's a good chance to buy them at a discount. Okay, so now let's go to our stock picks for today. So we have 3 to 4 stock plays from the recovery plays. So today we are going to talk about 4 recovery plays. 3 of them are from the same sector and 1 is from a different sector. So first 3 stocks which we have are Foot Locker, Crocs, Nike, and those are from athletic footwear and apparel retailer, and the last one is Visa. So let me show you why I think these are the places which are actually doing good with the reopening of the economy. So Piper Sandler is one of the investment bankers which does a lot of reports on the trending topics. So let's see what Piper Sandler have to tell about this one.
2 times every year, Piper Sandler surveys thousands of teens across the country and releases this survey that really shows us how much money they're spending, where they're spending that money, and what they're buying, and how else they're spending their time, be it on social media or watching content or videos online. We're seeing that teens are increasingly spending more money. They are feeling more optimistic, I think. Now, what's really driving that rebound is female teens. Female teens spending was up more so than males this time in the survey, and females are actually looking to spend more on clothing. So within the apparel space, teens still love Nike. Whether you're male or female, they love Nike. Nike has held that #1 spot for about a decade that Piper Sandler has been doing this survey. That's within both apparel and footwear.
All right. So our first topic is Nike. Nike seems to be the most favorite brand for teenage people, I mean mostly teenage women. So that is a very good thing. So people have been getting the stimulus checks, and there is a lot of pent up demand. So once the winter is over and the spring and summer comes in, you can see a lot of footwear and apparel, which is the first category to get bought by the teens. So let's see what is the next company which we have for today. That is Crocs, and why Crocs?
So what else is popular with teens? Well, they really love Crocs. And part of that is because of recent collaborations that Crocs has done with Justin Bieber. So we saw Crocs moving up on the rankings within the footwear category on this survey.
So Nike and Crocs are the ones which I have picked from that list, and there are some more reasons for that. So let's look at a few fundamentals of Nike as well as Crocs. Let's go to Foot Locker. Foot Locker, as you all know, it's like a store. It operates as an athletic footwear and apparel retailer, and it is actually operated through around 3,000 retail stores in 27 countries across the United States, Canada, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and Asia. So one thing to note is like we can see that Australia, New Zealand, United States, and Canada is kind of getting more into the reopening economy, as well as Europe and Asia. Some parts of Asia are having some more issues with the virus. So it's spread across. Foot Locker, if you see, you can see the brands like Nike, Fila, New Balance, Reebok, Adidas. So basically, now let's look at some of the fundamentals like the valuation. So this site says it's overvalued, but that is okay. Future growth of Foot Locker is a modest 4%, which is kind of okay. And in past performance, if you see, it had when it was doing good, it was having a profit margin of 6%, and now it is at 4.3%. But I believe in this summer and in the spring, due to the pandemic demand, this profit margin might go up, and as well as the revenue growth might also be better than expected. So financial health wise, they do have a very good balance sheet. They only have a debt of around $100 million. However, they have a very strong cash position of around $1.7 billion. There's a small dividend, 1.4%, so that is also an attractive perspective. Again, ownership wise, we can see there is only insider buying happening for the past few months. So insiders can sell for various reasons, but when they buy a particular stock, that means they are bullish on the company. The individual insiders are only 1.1%. That is okay. So Nike, I don't know how to explain more about Nike. Nike, it's a global brand. It's a sportswear. It has so many categories. It has running, Nike basketball, Jordan brand, training, sportswear, and so many other things. So everyone knows about Nike and what it does. And it has a very strong digital presence now. So that is one good thing about Nike. So now let's go to the valuation wise. It's saying Nike is overvalued. So if you take the history of Nike, Nike is always overvalued. Now let's go to the future growth. Nike says it projects 9.2% for the next 2 to 3 years in revenue growth, which is good, and earning growth is 15.6, which is again a strong metrics. And past performance wise, you can see we saw that Foot Locker had a profit margin of 6, whereas Nike, when it was doing good, it had a profit margin of 11% and more. So now it's again back to it's coming back to its normal. So it's close to 9% profitable, and I believe it's going to go up in this year. Now, financial health wise, Nike is also in a decent position. It's already making cash, so it's okay. Debt is like $9.4 billion, and cash and short-term investment is already above the debt level, which is $12.5 billion. It also have a very modest dividend yield, and ownership-wise, you can see there's nothing happening for the last close to a year. So whoever has a position in Nike, the individual insiders are holding on to that. So you can see the individual insiders is like 19.8%, which is very, very high for such a established brand. So that is a very good note for us. Crocs distributes casual lifestyle footwear and accessories for men, women, and children. So you might have already seen a lot of ads of Crocs, as well as you might be a user of Crocs. So they give like comfortable casual footwear. So and I believe teenagers and like the school kids are like really happy to wear Crocs. They also have e-commerce sites and third-party marketplaces. Fundamentals for Crocs. One good thing to note is like it already says like this site says it is trading at 38.5% below its estimated value. So this is very rare to see, but it's a very good metrics to note. Now valuation wise, as you can see, the site is projecting 136 as a fair value, but it's only at $84. Now in future growth, you can see Crocs has a pretty decent future growth compared to the apparel industry, luxury industry. So it's like at 10.4% of revenue growth and 7.7% of earnings growth. So now let's go to the past performance just to see what was the profitability. So I am very interested in Crocs just because of this portion. So from 2019 December, their profit margin has been increasing. So profit margin is like a metric which says if you put $100 into this industry, or into Crocs, the Crocs can return you around like 10% in 2019 December. And if you see its profit margin has been increasing, it's going to 10.4% and then 12, and currently it's at 22.6% profit margin. This is a very high profit margin. If you remember, Foot Locker gave a profit margin of just I believe it's like around 6%, and Nike gave a profit margin of 12%. So this is a very good curve for the company. The financial health says the debt is at $180 million. And the cash and short-term investments is at $135 million. So this is again fine because the company is already making cash out of its daily operation. So that is good. There is no dividend for the company. Ownership-wise, there has been some selling happening in the past few months. Individual insiders hold close to 2% of the total company floating shares. So these are the three companies which are from the footwear and apparel industry, which is related to the reopening trade. Now let's go to our fourth company, which is Visa. So Visa, we know it's a payments processor company, and it has digital payments among consumers, merchants, financial institutions, businesses, strategic partners, government entities. Visa has so many other products also, and recently Visa and PayPal announced that they would allow the use of cryptocurrency on their platforms. This is also positive news from the management of Visa to capture the market which is trending right now. So Visa, as of today, it's like at a market cap of $491 billion, which is a very big company. Valuation wise, they say it's like kind of overvalued, but it's like not very overvalued as we saw for Nike and all those things. And future growth, Visa is at 13.8%, which is strong, and earnings growth is also 15.8%. So this is for the next 2 to 3 years. So that is really good. Past performance wise, if you see, so Visa was doing really well at around March 30 of 2020. So that is when coronavirus happened, and you can see the profit percentage was like 50%. So this is huge. This is huge, as in this is like one of the best profit margins I have seen. Profit margin has come down to 48%, as well as the revenue has also come down. But I believe this is going to boom back once Visa cards have been used for lot more transactions than today. For example, we will see more travel coming in. We will see more spending in restaurants. We might see more spending in hotel bookings and lot of e-commerce transactions. So that is good for Visa. So they have a debt of around $20 billion, but they do have a cash and short-term investments of $18 billion. And also it's a very profitable business, and it is like printing a lot of money each quarter. So this is okay for Visa to have a little bit more debt than its cash balance. It has a very modest dividend of 0.6%, so that's an added cherry to the pie. And now related to ownership, you can see some amount of selling in the last few months for Visa, but that is okay. That happens. And you can see individual insiders is only holding to 0.06% of the company, and that is completely okay. Once you go to the top shareholders, you can see very big names like the Vanguard Group, the BlackRock, T. Rowe, State Street, Capital Research, Morgan Stanley. So big firms which have really strong research department, they do believe that Visa is going to be a very good stock for the future. So now let's just compare these 4 stocks and some of their metrics. So Foot Locker, as of today, the price is at $59. So and it has come down like 1% from its 52-week high. So it's pretty close to its all-time high. The market cap is $5.96 billion. Revenue growth is very modest, it's 3.4. Earnings growth is also 12. Asset to debt is good, so balance sheet is good. Valuation wise, it is a little bit overvalued. Insider percentage is like only 0.9. Profit percentage is 5, which is okay, but not very high. Price to sales multiple, so this is pretty low. Usually you will see price to sales multiple in single digits or more than, and like in double digits. So the lowest is better for a stock, but it depends on other factors also. And fair value, it says like it's 42, so this you can ignore. And trailing 12 months price to earnings ratio is at 90, and forward price to earnings is at 11.5. So these shows that the company is kind of decently valued. So now let's go to Crocs. So one important thing I need to start with Crocs is like Crocs profit margin is at 18%, and that is why you see a bit higher price to sales multiple compared to Foot Locker. So it's at 3.8. The fair value is 135 as per the site. So that is sometimes very rare to see higher value predicted by the sites. And then trailing 12 months price to earnings is at 18.9. 18.4, and forward price to earnings is 19.1. So I believe Crocs is one of the stocks which is actually really undervalued. So it has a good revenue growth, decent revenue growth at 10%, and it has a very high profit percentage. So these are good metrics for Crocs. Now let's go to Nike. So Nike has a market cap of $206 billion US. Revenue growth is at 9.4. Earnings growth is at 7.8 for the next 2 to 3 years. Balance sheet is kind of good. This is pretty overvalued as per the sites. Insiders are holding on to 20% of the stocks, so that is big. Profit percentage is at 10. That is good. It's not very as high as Crocs, but it is decent. And price to sales multiple, you can see the bullishness in Nike. People think it is it's still a very strong brand, so they are willing to pay more price to buy the stock of Nike, and because of that, the price to sales is at 5.37. The fair value is 85, whereas the Nike price is at 130, and the trailing PE is 60, and forward PE is 33. So this is real. You can see this is a bit costly compared to the others which we have discussed. And coming back to Visa, so Visa is from a different category, so you just cannot compare it like apples to apple to the other companies which we discussed today. But regardless, Visa has a market cap of around 500 billion. Revenue growth is at 13.8, which is good, and earnings growth is at 15.8. It's also considered to be a bit overvalued. It has a very good balance sheet. We've already seen that. Insider percentage is low, but the profit percentage is super high, which is 50%, which is very high, and that is probably one of the reasons why you see the sales price to sales multiple is very high for Visa. It's 23. Footwear and apparels will be less always. This is a different industry altogether. Fair value is 200. So different sites says different things, but one of the sites says its fair value is at 200. It's already at 230 right now. Trailing 12 months PE is 47, and forward PE is 41. My price target in 12 to 18 months for Foot Locker is 70. One thing to note is like these price, which is like the current prices might be a bit overvalued. So what my plan is like, if this comes down, so if Foot Locker comes down from 59 to 50 or like 55, I would buy some shares because my price target is 70. So the more it goes down, I have a more higher potential. Crocs is at 84.15 right now. I believe it's a $100 up to a $105 stock in 12 to 18 months. So if Crocs comes down, I'll just buy a good amount of Crocs share because I believe in this company. Nike is always a strong stock, and it's at 130 now. I believe it will come to 150, 155 in 12 to 18 months. So again, if Nike gives you a bad earnings and then it goes down, that's a good chance for you to buy it if you believe in the company. Again, Visa is at $230 today, and I believe it goes to 250 plus. I believe it will happen in 6 to 12 months, not going to 18 months, because once the economy reopens fully, you can see strong transaction volumes happening. And again, Visa is reporting the earnings in like couple of days. So if Visa misses the earnings and it tends to go down, then that's a very good opportunity for me to buy it. You can see I have Visa in blue, Crocs in green, Foot Locker in pink, and Nike in grey. So you can see Crocs have come up to the price of around $42 before the pandemic, and once the pandemic hit, it went down, but from there it was going in a strong upward trending direction, because this is because the company is doing good even after the pandemic and during the pandemic. And then the blue is a Visa stock. You can see how Visa is doing very well for like last 5 years. So Visa was at around $210 before the pandemic, and now it's again coming back to, and it's at $230 right now. Nike stock, you can see it's an upward trend for Nike stock as well. So Nike stock was at $103 before the pandemic, and now it is at $134. One thing to note for stocks like Visa and Nike, etc., like they are strong brands, and always the stock price tries to come up to its all-time high and go upwards. So if you bought at any of these dips, you can see you could have made profits.